seemed as though every team would have a player or several players that are capable of going off for big numbers against you. And I thought our defensive game plan, for the most part, was fine. If you told me that Mitchell and Filipowski would score half of what they normally average, and everybody else played normal, I felt that our chances would have been pretty good. But I think all of us who played basketball, we seem to have one of those nights where you can't miss, regardless of how you defend it. I thought McCain had one of those nights. But that's kind of the story of our season. For whatever reason, there always seemed to be one guy that really has plagued us. We had a lot of balls. We had several shots that I thought rattled out. And they had several shots that rattled in. You have games, that's why you have to, as a team, you have to take games. People are just not going to give you games. And when you play against a really good team who has really good players, defensively you just can't afford to take a night off, a possession off. And there were several shots that I thought Duke made that were well contested, that we closed out and took away space, that we jumped to the moon and contested and made them arch the ball very high. And they made it. That's what good players will do, good teams will do, and their lives are lost. We could a few possessions. I thought there were some deflections that we created. It seemed as though the deflections always fell in the wrong direction. But that's why you have to control that with your energy, your offensive rebounds, your deflections and steals, and creating offense off your defense. And I thought we fell a little short of it tonight. I really got to take my hat off to Duke, because there were times when I thought that we really had them defended pretty well, and guys would make tough shots. What we have to do is take a better understanding that that's life in the ACC. Tonight it was McCain, and until next time we play, it's going to be someone else. And you have to have a mindset that every possession, from a defensive standpoint, you're going to make it as tough for them as you can. Obviously, their game plan was to drive the ball to the basket, and for the most part, we could have done a better job tonight containing the dribble than we have some games. That's what the statistics seem to show here. But once again, I thought we just got beat by a team that had enough talent that was, when one of the players were not playing well, that somebody else picked up the slack. And I thought that made the difference in the game. My hat goes off to them. They played offensively better than we were able to play defensively.
Leonard, when somebody's going like that, what can you do? It wasn't like he was getting wide open looks.
Right. The second half, I thought there were periods there where we had 25 at halftime, right? So that means they had 10 in the second half. We did a better job. We went to another defensive scheme where we played no catch on, and made it a little more challenging for him. But I thought Roach, once again, I thought he penetrated to the free throw line and made some very challenging shots. But that's life in the ACC. Every team has a Roach, and every team has a guy that's capable of going off and shooting a high percentage from three, like McCain. But that's what good teams in the ACC will do for you. That's why you have to have a mindset on the defensive end that you defend everybody with the highest level of focus. I thought that there were times early in the first half where we could have given McCain a little bit more respect. But I thought once we realized that after the first time out, I thought that we gave him the proper respect. But I just think that sometimes penetrating and attacking the basket causes you to, it breaks your defensive pressure down. And every time we made a mistake defensively, they found it. And he was happy to get it out of the look. but I don't think he got that many wide open looks. It's just that his offense was better than our defense.
And his only 3 in the second half came on that sequence after the technical. What did they say Darren did wrong there?
I think he got a little emotional. And, that's what it looked like to me. And was it a 4-point game then? Or 5?
It was I think it was a 6 that went to 11.
Oof. That's not pretty. But and we had a little momentum at that time, and somehow or another. But you always can. You look to that and you say that was the straw that broke the camel's back. But in reality, had we been better defensively in the first half, maybe we would not have been in that situation. That was, all of us gonna get emotional every once in a while and gonna say something. I mean, he didn't do anything drastic because you asking me what he did. So obviously it wasn't. But the rules are the rules. And you have to abide by them. Unfortunately, that was a situation where we didn't handle it.
Coach, it's clear how much Jameer's presence at both ends of the court makes a difference. I know he had 2 fouls. Was there any thought getting him in towards the end of the first half?
Well, it was like a 4 or 5 point game, and they had the spurt right there at the end. So if you got your leading scorer sitting there and it's a 4 or 5 point game and you anticipate going into halftime 5 or 6 down, that's not a total bad situation. But once again, they made a couple plays there toward the end. I think did they make a 3 there as time was going down?
McCain.
Excuse me?
Jared McCain, yeah.
Yeah, he had a
So
throw
my
right there.
point is that that's the way the ball bounced. Had we had a 5-point, 6-point deficit at halftime, then we would have played it right. So, but the fact that it bloomed to 10, and it's easy to say, well, maybe if Jameer had been in there, it wouldn't have been 10. But then he very well could have got his 3rd foul too, and would have put us in a situation where it would have been challenging for us to come back. It's just the luck of bounce.
You touched on it, Leonard. Y'all had 9 steals, and it felt like y'all were close to like 14 or 15 steals. And also, it seemed like every time y'all blocked a shot, they got the loose ball in the middle of the lane. Is it just one of those games, or is there something? How do you work on something like that to go grab loose balls like that in the middle of the court?
Well, you have those games. That's why you have to. You got to be overly aggressive. You got to be unbelievably alert. 50 balls make a difference in a lot of games. And it just seemed like that ball, we blocked the shot and it fall to one of them. They missed a couple of shots around the basket and everybody's jumping. And could have gone to anybody and it seemed to go to them. That's what an alert team would do. And that's something we've had games where we've battled and we've got those loose balls. And you point to that because the defense over here wasn't as good as it should have been, and so you look at that situation. The bottom line is they had better offense tonight than we had defense, and and one player had an exceptional night, and we had 2 guys, two of our best players in foul trouble. But you have to overcome that. You have to find a full complement of players that overcome that. And it shouldn't really matter if someone is in foul trouble. And we always have been able to pretty much absorb fouls in the first half with the quality of our depth. My depth is not quite as experienced as it has been in the past. And so we don't quite get the same level of consistency. But that's who we are this year with this team.
Everybody else said?